I'd say we're going to see the squeeze fade quite a bit from these two today.
I thought I had a fair chance, but maybe 1 in millions. Did I complete 180? No, I'm going there anyway. I thought I had a fair chance.
Welcome to the Squeeze Fade podcast. My name is Austin. It's been a couple weeks. Dustin, how are you doing?
Doing well. It's we I think both had a little bit of family and career and other things come up over the last week that delayed things, but it gave us an opportunity to see maybe a once in a lifetime for us opportunity, a little USA hockey win, first one since 1980 as a honorary Minnesotan now. That's huge for us and the culture up here. Sorry to some of the Canadian boys that good friends from the TrackMan days and from my time in Maine, but sometimes it just doesn't work out. And, but one of the beautiful things just watching, some of the celebrations and things is I've learned how many golfers there are on that team. I think we both know that hockey is one of the best, if not the best sport for, the game of golf, being, a very good golfer from that sport, just similar movements and good movements. So it's been fun to see some golf swings from these boys and do a little analyzing and watching what's happening. So yeah,
do you think there's going to be another movie? Movie made out of this team?
Little Miracle 2.0.
Yep.
The miracle that I don't think so. I think it was cut and dry. We saw pretty much everything about it. I think if we did see a movie, it'd just be a Connor Hellebuck in memoriam, watching him make those saves and basically win some gold.
That was wild. That image of it's probably the most famous one where the stick is out
from above,
the goal is open, and that was nuts. Yeah.
Effectively that plus two other saves, one a little earlier, one a little later, just completely saved that game on top of 40 others. I think it was the most since NHL or what with NHL players, the most saves by a goalie in a Gold Cup game. So pretty insane performance, and against obviously some of the best players in the world on that team from Canada, man.
So I'm guessing, as a Minnesotan, you're a Winter Olympics guy versus summer.
I've always loved the Winter Olympics. Just something. Even though Texas originally, right? The cold blood runs through me, and I was an early adopter of the Jamaican bobsled team and Cool Running. So I've always just been a huge fan of this Olympics. But honestly, both of them, right? Just watching people that are generally not professional athletes compete and pride for their countries, and just it's amazing to watch those and watch some of the best athletes in the world compete, that work at Starbucks when they're home or wherever it may be. So it's cool to see.
We got a couple 2 or 3 good years coming up with the World Cup and then the Summer Olympics out in LA. So
Yep. There's a lot coming. The World Cup, correct me if I'm wrong, but is that America's? So you have Canada, U.S. and Mexico hosting, maybe even down in Central America. I'm not sure, but
yeah. And, it all depends on the games are spread out. So it's going to be, a lot of travel. But what's interesting is, I'm in Kansas City. We have England, Argentina, Algeria. There's 3 or 4 teams
have Argentina.
basing.
I can tell you
but
that.
They're basing out of Kansas City. So they're pulling up, and one, they're all using different. So one of them's using the USA men's soccer team, their indoor training facility, and one's using the women, the KC Current. They have a really good training facility. So
Yep.
we'll probably see some lads from England at the
That'd be
grabbing a
sweet.
pint. That would be that'd be pretty sweet. So we have I think Argentina's playing Algeria here at the Chiefs Stadium. So that's been a hot ticket for sure.
Yeah, we have a couple members at the club that are from Argentina and live here now, and obviously huge Argentinian soccer football fans. And so we were talking the other day, and he said, one of the games is KC that they're going to go to, and I believe the other was Dallas Cowboys Stadium.
Yep.
So that's it's fun to see that it's going to be so close, right? We've seen a little bit of world class football over the years with Real Madrid and Manchester United coming over and playing matches and things of that nature. But I think for us, this is the first opportunity to see some really good soccer, some really good football. And I know that's you, man. You're Saturday morning, you're up watching. You're a Real Madrid.
They were on
Madrid
today,
guy.
Champions League. We're recording this Wednesday, and February 25th they played today. They advanced to the next round, thankfully. But it's been a long season for sure. But yeah, I love that culture and kind of how soccer clubs work, and especially Real Madrid being not owned by like big Saudi oil money or anything like that. They're owned by the fans, and so they have to have a positive budget. They can't just grab money from anywhere else. So it's been cool to just like dig into that. So yeah, it's been fun. I'm excited for the World Cup.
And they have, just for my knowledge, I had a buddy that was in that world years ago, and I believe he went and like worked within their organization in the coaching side. But they have like junior teams, right? And they're starting kids really young and developing them into the best players in the world. Is that accurate, or is there some more steps to that?
It's definitely in America, it's kind of what we do with like basketball and football, and it's a lot easier to get into that here, where soccer is so much pay to play here in America, and so you don't get the type of people that would maybe be good at soccer, whereas overseas that is like central to your everyday upbringing is soccer. And it's not behind a paywall. It's not behind like this massive leagues and all that. Like you could start playing from the day you're born, essentially. Like you have a soccer ball on your foot. But yeah, Real Madrid has. One time I was at my friend's house, and for some reason their U12 team was on ESPN. They were 10, 11, 12-year-old, and it was unbelievable. It was better than anything I've ever seen. I think from our U.S. men's soccer team here, and it was. But those guys have just been doing it since literally like they could walk. Similar to how here, like you may have a basketball as soon as you can start dribbling. Like my son is throwing a football around and all that. I mean, it's just natural for an American. But no, it's fun to see that. It's gone away a little bit in soccer from the whole like rising up. Oh, I was at the La Fabrica, which is right below Real Madrid. I was at the U12 team. It's more of kind of moving around, and you got to go play in Europe. You got to go play in another country. And then you come back to Madrid. But that's kind of how I got into it. Gareth Bale came over, and I really liked him when he was playing. And then they did have
Big
a lot
golfer,
of
side note.
Huge golfer.
16 replica or 17 replica from TPC Sawgrass, I believe, in his backyard.
Yeah. Very good swing too. It's he absolutely pounds the ball. But he was great. And then at that time they had a ton of Spanish players that had come up through like basically the system, and it was awesome. So yeah, it's good. I am pumped for the World Cup. I'll cheer on the USA, but I would love to see Ronaldo get a World Cup with Portugal to kind of ride off into the sunset. So
yeah, I mean, not as nearly devoted of a fan as you, but I followed his career like from a very young age, and yeah, just he's a phenomenal soccer player, like unbelievable athlete and showmanship and just some unbelievable goals. I know there's some controversy around him trying to get to 1,000 goals and some of his antics as of late and throughout his career with the flopping.
Right.
But man, when he's on, dude, it's amazing to watch.
Yeah,
it's so much fun.
and
It's fun
like
to see
him
him there.
and him like LeBron and Tiger, and you start to see these athletes that took care of their body for the most part. Tiger obviously had a lot of other issues, but like Ronaldo's 40, I think 41, and he probably could still play for Real Madrid, and at least score some goals because I mean that's the issue now is a lot of the kids that are playing, they only practice or take care of their body during the season, and then off season it's like, oh, whatever, we'll get back in shape. Ronaldo's like 365 days a year.
Oh yeah,
he's like, oh, I
he's a
had one
grinder.
slice of pizza one day. Like, yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, it's fun to watch those guys and learn from them. And I mean, yeah, it's a whole nother level of dedication, not just to the food they eat and their training schedules, but just how they sleep and how they recover. And it's fascinating to see that. And you see a lot of it in the game of golf nowadays. See a lot more of these guys, getting their bodies worked on before and after events, and they're practicing into the sunset, and you got to keep your body in shape if you want to be at that level for a long time. And I think, like you said, Tiger, well, maybe Greg Norman and who's our South African boy, another fitness guy.
Oh, Gary Player.
So I think those were maybe the earlier well-known adopters of that lifestyle. But yeah, it's cool to see a lot of that being implemented into the game, and you're getting faster speeds and a lot of debates from us. So we love it. Keeps the channel going, right?
Love it.
But to that point, we have a phenomenal episode tonight. I know it's long awaited on our fronts, but it's one of our favorite stories, one of our favorite trips. It is going to be probably a long one. There's a lot of things that we're going to tie back to those first couple episodes when we mentioned, we'll talk about this later. We'll get to this later. This is that episode where we catch up on a lot of those. But we also, over the last week and a half, 2 weeks, had a ton of discussions about things going on in the golf world with, the PGA of America, TGL, et cetera. But give us a little brief on what's to come, because I know there's a lot around it. We don't have a ton of time tonight to dive into each of those topics, but give us that surface level of, what the viewers can expect from us.
Yeah, no, for sure. And one of the key things there, you mentioned the PGA of America, our fearless leader, Don Ray, is missing. And so we'll put out a search for him on a future episode and figure out what's going on. We'll also dive into the PGA magazine. So that's a magazine that we get, once a month. Normally it goes directly into the trash. But I think that there's a lot of good insights that we can glean from that, and it will tie back to kind of some of our frustrations with the PGA in general. But excited about that, and then TGL. So I was into TGL in season 1. I haven't watched much in season 2, and a lot of it is because the technology that they're using at TGL. So there's been a lot of issues lately, and we'll dive into that too.
Definitely. Yeah. A lot of fun things on those fronts and more. We have some additional topics and things we want to really get into, and, what's grinding our wedges per se in the golf industry. So, excited for those to come. But man, I am so jacked up for today. Like, let's get into the first part of it, right? We ultimately went to LA is this golf trip and that's where we were based and did all of our golf and lodging.
Some San Diego kind of down, but mostly in LA.
Yep. So it was kind of our home base. But there were 2 trips that led into that golf trip. And so to give you a little insights on like what it's like to plan a golf trip with not a lot of notice, right? I think we were planning this 2 to 4 months ahead of time, maybe a little longer, maybe 5, 6 months ahead of time. But just to let people know, like, this is what it looks like if you're trying to plan a really cool golf trip on short notice, or if you are a PGA professional, or if you're an industry person in the game of golf, just give you some of the highs and lows of what that looks like. And also, you know, some of the good and bads that we got on these trips. So first trip was Seattle, right? Go see our boy Jeff. We had a foursome planned for that trip. But tell us, you know, I know you made a few calls to some PGA pros, and give us your synopsis of why that didn't work out, and where things went awry.
You know, first, the Pacific Northwest is I love the area, and we've talked about Gearhart before on this podcast, and that was one of the stops. I believe we're gonna maybe end in Gearhart, but I know the main stops were Chambers Bay, like what's the other?
Sahali. We should have researched
there
this
was
before,
one
I forgot
more.
half of them.
And there was some
Point, I believe.
Sand Point was going to be
Hollow.
our first one. There was one private that was I think they're playing an LPGA event there, but we basically had it all planned, and so we kind of used our PGA. We've called pros, like Jeff kind of helped with getting maybe Chambers Bay set up. So we're all, we're basically dialed in. Like I have a notes, thing that I shared with you all that was like, I was jacked, like pictures of every golf course ready to go. And some of it started to kind of fall apart. Like there was a couple courses, I think, that we were having trouble getting. We tried to reach out. We were kind of trying to go through Jeff a little bit with the TrackMan connection. And one of the things that came up was it was straight in airification season up in the Pacific Northwest.
I forgot about that.
And so one of the main private courses we wanted to go at would have been, I think, half the course. They were doing it phases, I think. And so we could have played the front 9 or the back 9. I can't remember which one it was. And then the trip just started to slowly unravel from that point. Like we're like, maybe we should call the other places.
Projects, and then it became a lot of travel, because I remember we were going to go play on one of the islands, and then with trying to go down and play in Northern Oregon, that was another kind of out of the way travel, and just it got convoluted really quick in what was going to happen and where we were going to end up playing, and
even at Gearhart too, we were planned to play the day before airification, but they said, hey, if the weather changes, we may have to move it up or back. So like we could have just been golf.
That, as you can tell, that was the straw that broke the camel's back for Austin. Is when he heard Gearhart was possibly not on, he said no.
Abandoned. We're out.
So then we go from Seattle to possibly the hardest place to play golf. Well, after our discussions earlier this evening, maybe the second hardest after Phoenix, Arizona. We
kept moving a little bit south. We're like, all right, can't do Oregon. Let's try the Bay Area. And I traveled quite a bit there with TrackMan. I got to play none of the courses that we wanted to play, but I got to play Stanford Golf Club, which was awesome. But we wanted to kind of make a Northern California trip. We had some connections there, and then we ran into a lot of issues.
A lot. That one was pure renovations, right? I think we had 5 rounds kind of established and ready to go at some unbelievable tracks. I'll let you name those here in a second.
Pasatiempo, that was
renovated.
Massive. Olympic
Club.
In
the middle of a huge renovation. Olympic was in the middle of a huge renovation.
Right.
Cal Club.
Cal Club was as well. Yeah.
Yep. Well, I don't think they were in a renovation. I think that was one of the few that we had kind of established and ready to go. But those two, and then the People's Pebble, Pacific Grove, I believe.
Pacific Grove. I still have not played. I've walked around some of the famous holes that we've seen. But we got to get out there for sure. So we were trying to piece together, okay, Pasatiempo, which is on my top, very top of the list for me to get out and play. And we're like, man, that's kind of, the anchor really for in my view of one of them is like, I really want to play Pasatiempo, but I think it worked out because now we're going to get to play it, in a couple years, probably with fully renovated, like not only just, because I think we would have played it potentially with like 9 holes renovated, and the other 9 kind of torn up or something.
Half and half. Yeah. I think they had like 5 holes completely out of the rotation. And then, it was like, I think they ultimately were closed. I don't think we were able to play at all. But they were only renovating part of it. And maybe there was a tournament or something as well. But yeah, and then we were looking all over, right? We were thinking, do we go up to wine country and try to play golf a little bit? Do we go to Half Moon Bay, which, being an American Pie fan from a kid, like that's a place I've always wanted to play. I think
even down to Monterey, trying to get to, so if you, out of all the places there, if you had to power rank maybe your top 5 that you'd want to play, in between the Bay Area, Half Moon, Monterey. I know one of yours is going to be on there from down in Monterey, but what are some other ones that you're like, man, I got to get out there?
Yeah, I mean, number one in the world I want to play is Cypress Point. Just being a fan of the book The Match, growing up reading that and just visualizing it, because there wasn't a lot of imagery on it when we were younger. I've just semi-imagined myself playing that golf course multiple times. And so that's definitely number one. San Francisco Golf Club. Everything I hear, that's at the top of people's lists. I was just watching something on a few LPGA Tour players' favorite courses, and I heard that a handful of times. A few Tour players, same thing. So that's definitely got to be up there. Based off what I've heard of Cow Club, same thing. Would absolutely love to play there. Olympic Club, same deal. Want to play there. Looks unbelievable. I played it in TrackMan a bunch. Looks great. And then the list kind of like evens out for everything else, right? I don't, Spyglass looks unbelievable. I'm not the biggest Pebble guy, honestly. Went to the US Open in 2019. Unbelievable piece of property. Views are great. Golf course outside of a handful of holes doesn't really interest me. And so yes, I'd love to play Pebble. I think it's an unbelievable golf course. It's been there forever. There's a lot of history. There's a lot of, champions that have played there. And there's some of the, if not the best golf holes in the world out there. So I get it that like the golf course is worth it, but on my list, I think that it's just not up there. But Pacific Grove, I love.
That's got to make your list.
It does. Like I love that style of golf. I love the, you're just part of the community going out playing. You're playing with, people that are local and golf nerds and enthusiasts, and like you're getting the real golfer out there, right? And I think that's Pasatiempo as well. I missed that one in there. I definitely, I'm a McKenzie guy. I've played one in my life, the University of Michigan golf course. It was scary good. And we played it freezing, like 33 degrees, blowing 20. And I would go back and play that every single day in those conditions. It was that much fun. So to play one in that area where there's a lot of, McKenzie courses and designs and love in that area would be amazing. So yeah, I know I didn't even put Half Moon Bay in there, but I think that's less of a golf course that I want to play and more of just like being in that, looking at the hotel, looking out at the ocean and just kind of seeing that. And like, man, my childhood was here and, through a TV screen sometimes. So, but yeah, back to you on that. Like I know one of yours 100%. I think I'm going to probably match you on a few of those, but give it a go.
I think, the USAM was at Cyprus, right?
Yep.
And that was my first, I think, because that video and how they let people walk right behind, and that was my first like, oh my gosh, like this is, you could actually see the course, see how they play versus how normal events are televised, but that was awesome.
Yep.
MPCC is out there as well. I mean, I know that's I've seen some pictures out there. I mean, I think Pebble I want to do just because it's Pebble. I've my wife and I would go to Carmel on a few trips and walk the beach and actually walk up and see like number 7 at Pebble and all that. So I would love to do that once, but Pasta Tiempo's number 1 for sure. I mean, you mentioned Cow Club, like I the renovation at Olympic looks really intriguing to me, and I think that that would be another one I'd love to play. But yeah, no, I think you're basically spot on. Like, and I enjoyed Stanford Golf Club too. I mean, that was a
Good
pretty
things.
good, yeah, very good design. The actually just being out like at the facility that Stanford practices at was amazing. I mean, that's world class facilities and trackmen out there and stuff. So, but
Yep.
yeah, I love the Bay Area. It's got a lot of issues potentially, but the golf out there is world class. Yeah, and so
Yeah,
I
and we
think
didn't
yeah.
even get into didn't they just complete a renovation at the public course that overlooks the bridge, if I remember correctly? I think that
Yes.
was like going to be when we got in, we were going to sneak out and play a quick 18 there.
Yeah, my
Golden
guy
Gate Golf Course, maybe?
my guy Jay Blasey.
Yeah, that's definitely up on the list.
Yep.
And I will say, if I ever get the opportunity to play Cypress Point, I will. Yeah, I'll be there the next day. Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. Yeah,
The flight
what's
costs.
happening.
If I
Yeah.
have to drive, we're there. We'll be
Yeah.
there.
Uh,
But
all
yeah, so
right,
that
and then we get into our Southern California, you know, really like gauntlet
extravaganza.
of just golf, man. Just
Yeah, it
so
was a lot.
not only like celebrities kind of everywhere, which you kind of expect that, but also don't expect it at the same time. But yeah, let me run down our list of courses here that we played, and then we can get into some of the shenanigans that happened out there. So um first on the list, Lakeside. Is it Lakeside Golf Club, I believe.
Yep, you're wearing the
Next
hat.
is
I'm wearing the hat.
Yep, love it. Next is Hacienda. Then we went to Hillcrest. After that, we went to Brentwood. Then we went down south to the farms, then Rancho Santa Fe. And then we ended at Saticoy up north of LA, kind of up the coast a little bit. So that was the trip. Take us away. Let's go to Lakeside and start there.
Yeah, I mean, off a flight. I got in a little bit earlier. Was cruising around Hollywood, and then we scooped you up and get out there and get paired up with some amazing individuals that we won't give too much information on, but I got to play with, I believe, a few members, and just from the moment you step on property, you're right across the street from NBC Studios. So there's a ton of celebrities that are members, and they come over in between shoots or on their days off and play golf. And yeah, it was kind of tucked away, like you felt away from the city. It was kind of weird, like, there's no walls, but you feel like there's walls up, and you don't hear a lot of the noise and the traffic and the horns and things like that. You're just kind of in the middle of a golf course. So that was really neat. And then, 2, 3, whatever the hole was, like you look out, you're hitting your tee shot over the NBC Studios over there on the left. And I think you had like Magic Kingdom or something
Yep.
up on the hill,
like
out
the Harry
there.
Potter, like, yeah, I mean, really the whole left side of the golf course, you kind of have Universal Studios, I believe, just like framing all these shots. It was,
Yeah,
I mean, course conditions were,
impeccable,
unbelievable, and
phenomenal layout,
oh
very fun to play. Yeah, it was a pleasure, and that was our first taste of celebrities.
yep,
Our first one was Colin Jost. Shout out, TrackMan guy. So it's fun to see him and again, I'm a Saturday Night Live fan and watch Weekend Update, and so it's cool to see him in person. Didn't even stutter a word to him. I think he just sliced one in the woods, so we were just walking by as he's kind of looking for a ball, and but that was fun to see. I think that was like the 5th hole or something. We came across him, so that was our intro into the celebrity madness.
Yeah, it was. The course was great, but to me, the after the round hang in the locker room, which was cigars allowed, and played some cards, had a cigar, like that was, truly got like the member experience of, hey, we're you're a part of the club, and that was we'll get into some of the maybe stuffier clubs that we went to as well, but this was very, very chill,
very open, very relaxed. Yeah,
everyone kind of knew each other. They had a very consistent card game that they always played that we got taught, which was awesome.
That was a blast.
Yeah. So that was a great start to the day, and I think we should frame up to the trip. Really was built. One of our guys that we know is a member at one of the clubs that we played at. And he's also a Golf Digest Raider, so he's kind of got the double whammy there. That actually is a little bit, a lot better to get on places than a PGA member. So that's
not even in the same category.
Yeah,
their access is. I mean, either of those, right? Being a club member at a premier club, or being a Golf Digest Raider, your opportunities are tenfold what a PGA professional opportunities are, whether you're connected or not connected. Maybe some of those pros in the top 20, 30 golf course list, maybe top 50, have some doors like that can open. But yeah, it is a very interesting world to see and for a very, very short period of time be a part of, but very excited that we were a part of that.
Right.
I don't know if you're going on from Lakeside yet. I do want to highlight one of my highlights of the trip out there. We're going to keep going into movies, but Varsity Blues guy, RIP to James. But the last primary cast member remaining alive, Scott Caan, tweeter, huge fan, have always been a huge fan of his from Gone in 60 Seconds and some other classics, but we did cross paths twice with him. He's about the same size as me. Both of those times, he was just awing over my golf swing. I did pump both of the shots that he saw with drives. So Scott, if you're out there, you need any tips, want some swing advice, I'm at the Barn Club now, teaching full time. Would love to help with your game, bud.
Love it. Love it. Yeah, I can't, I didn't even remember that one. We saw a couple celebrities right off the bat. And then I always do love, it's scary, but I love an 18th hole that the green is basically touching the patio grill. It's like, you better be spot on, but from that to the first tee, it's such a really a community feel out there. Like it's very tight. There's not like a ton of room to move around. So you're kind of talking with people, you're mingling, and shout out. I mean, our hosts were amazing. Like the guy that we had
made it such an experience on top of, already a beautiful setting and just excited to be out of our elements playing golf in general. And then this guy to just step in and be a power host. Man, he showed us what it was like to be a Hollywood star for a day. And I appreciate every moment of that. It was a blast.
Yep. Love the start to the trip. And then from there, we actually go to Hacienda, which is,
let's slow down a little. We stayed in the Hollywood Hills.
You're right. We
right.
We got the same day.
This was so. First of all, we go after that to sushi. Right. You and our host get a little aggressive. I'm the sober guy. Me and actually the pro at Lakeside was a fellow sober gentleman, so that was also a cool connection out there.
Also, our host, he does not allow you to just order what you want to order. So this is where the aggressiveness came in.
There, yes, correct. That Austin was forced to drink at his will. He did try to stop 2 to 4 times, and it was basically screamed at him that he was going to continue drinking. So he did, but lucky for him, he had a sober ride through those hills, which unbelievable, man. Like that is one of the coolest places to if you live there. Just you feel like separated from the world. Like we were right next door to 2 houses, and I don't think I saw anybody. And
it's
it was
crazy the way they build those, like, because you park and then you kind of go up the stairs and you can like touch the house next to you, but you really have no idea that they're there once you're in the house.
Yep. And then that view, like you're looking out, I don't even know what it was, what that view was.
I think
but
we
it
saw
was,
Universal Studios from one side, and then you could see like downtown LA or something like that. It was, it was
a
awesome.
treat.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, cost effective too. Like, again, we're trying to do this on the best budget we can. And, there's some unexpected expenses that we'll chat about at some of these places. But that was, I mean, yeah, there's still some cool places out there that can be accessed, by normal Joes.
And when we're trying to plan this, I mean, LA is a nightmare, obviously, as people know, to get around. And I mean, that is probably the best, like, easiest way to you just kind of go up, go up the Hollywood Hills and you're there. Um, Speaking of, like, my only other time in the Hollywood Hills when I used to travel out there for Trackman was I had some extra time and I'm like, let me go find, Robin Big's house where Robin Big was filmed. And
Let
looked
me
it
tell
up.
you about my best
Oh,
friend.
it's just like that show, basically raised me. I think that was, but you can look it up. It's on Google Maps, and I drove up, looked just like it was on the TV show, and it was awesome. So,
That's insane. Love
yeah,
that.
no, loved our spot in the hills, and then we kind of used that as base camp for what 2 nights, I think, while we were in
I
that
believe
area.
so.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
then the
'Cause
next
we,
day, we played in that area for Hacienda, then Hillcrest and Brentwood, and then we went down south.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. So day 2, after a long day of travel, a late night of forceful fun, and we had a very early morning out at Hacienda, maybe unplanned on some people's parts, but we did 36 that day, and I know you're a Hacienda, adorer.
Oh,
And maybe some records out there, but lay the
yeah.
land out there. Tell us
Yeah.
about that morning, and yeah.
I mean, Hacienda, I mean, if we're talking about Gearhart is kind of my maybe one, Hacienda maybe 1A, as far as just kind of happy places. And, that is where our host is a member at. So I've been fortunate to play out there 4 or 5 times over the years, like when I went out with Trackman. And so it is, we've talked about this with the recent, Genesis and Riviera. Like it's probably the poor man's Riviera. The first tee is just like I would say just like, but very close to first tee at Riv. But it's kind of it's a drive to get out there. It's way out in where it's like probably 45 minutes east of LA. So like it's out there, but you're driving, kind of through hills and you all of a sudden you pull in and you're there. And it's kind of, it just opens up into just a wonderful like walk of a golf course and some really interesting holes, a couple really dumb holes, but a lot of just good, fun, interesting golf holes kind of tucked into, not a mountain, but you're kind of just hidden from stuff. Like you're not
You feel
in
like
the
you're in a
city.
valley.
Yeah.
Like you feel like you're tucked away. There's, I mean, no traffic anywhere around you. There's no noise. It doesn't feel like what you think you're going to experience when you think I'm going to play golf in the LA area. But yeah, it's there's a lot of similarities to Riviera. A lot of similar hole layouts, a lot of some similar green structures and routing and things like that. So, but it was, yeah, I had a blast. I thought that golf course was one that you could play twice a day, every single day, which I understand why you throw it so high on the list, is because that, like,
Yep.
a good golf course isn't always the most picturesque and on the ocean and, Alistair McKenzie design. It's courses that you can play every single day and never get bored of it, have a lot of fun. And also, all the members that we interacted with were awesome out there as well. So that was definitely not any stuffiness feel to it. The PGA pro out there was awesome to us. Came up and had a good conversation after our round. A lot of fun. Would highly recommend it if it's ever in the catalog for anyone.
Yeah, and we started early, like you mentioned, and our host, as we've talked about from the sushi dinner, he's just very aggressive, with certain things, and so we're being rushed to tee off. It's like 7 a.m. I felt like there was 50 people waiting to tee off. There wasn't, but
were literally 50 people waiting to tee off.
Yeah, and so I'm like, I already hate this. I'm ready to just get teed off. I grab a cup of coffee and grab the decaf.
No. First of all, let's not blame any of that. Let's not blame any of that.
That is the reason. 100%. Yeah.
Austin. So Austin grabs a coffee and is sleep deprived, and he has no clue what he's doing. It's not the rushing. It's just he is just sleep deprived at this point. And then we go in at the turn. And you go to the orange pot, which this is where I agree with the others on. He goes to the orange pot and starts to pour coffee after complaining for about 7 holes. The first 2, he was a pleasure because we had people pushing us nonstop. Right. But
to be fair, when someone's screaming at you while you're trying to fill your coffee cup up, I wasn't paying attention.
You were free. Austin goes straight to that orange one after playing 9 holes, after being a little bit more awake, and he's complaining, "Oh man, I'm super tired. This coffee isn't working." And at the turn, he goes in to the orange pot. I'm pretty sure 99.9% of people know that the orange pot's decaf. He got a very, very aggressive scolding, which again, I agree with part of it. There's maybe some too aggressive terms in there, but you did deserve it for going in twice for the decaf.
100%.
Just a head point.
The first time the orange was hidden. I do know orange is decaf. I want to put that on the record, but it was hidden, but it was not out so I could see. And I was also getting chirped at the same time at 6 a.m. in the morning. So at that point, it was not my best golf day for sure, but I always have an unbelievable time at Hacienda.
Yeah, I mean, after 10, your day got a lot better.
Yep.
10, I think you pumped it, snap hooked it almost into the parking lot.
Yep.
It was already a tough front 9. You had just gotten just absolutely destroyed for 8 minutes on your coffee selection, and laughed at by me because
yes.
I was back enjoying that. But then we got some Uncrustables at the halfway house. You got one of those Uncrustables in you, and you turned it on from like 11 to 18. So there's some highlights in there for sure.
No, I had a good back 9, and I think we had a good little lunch after.
It was a short one because we had to boot, scoot, and boogie, which that's I think our number one tip if you're playing golf in a major metro anywhere, much less LA, is plan your golf around your travel. We drove a ton. We probably spent 20% of the entire trip on the road in a car. Some of it was worth it, some of it wasn't, but just as you're planning golf trips and you're planning tee times, like, be very, very cognizant of where you're going, what times, traffic expectations, what type of city you're in. There's a lot of things that go into that to make a smooth trip, and we learned quite hard
Yeah.
on some of these.
Yeah. I mean,
This one not so much.
Yeah. Yeah.
This one was
fine.
relatively smooth.
Yeah, it was what I mean. Anytime there's traffic, but it's probably an hour to get from Hacienda to Hillcrest, maybe an hour and a half. And but I mean, Hillcrest it's such an interesting place, man. It's I mean, it's manicured perfectly. And the renovation they did
It's
out
Augusta,
there,
basically.
yeah, 100%. Yeah,
hand clipped feel to every single part of the property.
yep. And this is a spot. They were an early adopter in TrackMan Range back when I was out there traveling on the West Coast, and so I would go out there quite a bit for that. I got to play once previously, and the renovation they did out there, I believe before the renovation, you had essentially a view of downtown, like 3 or 4 spots on the property. Now I want to say it was like, they said it was 80 plus, it was a lot. So they cleared out a ton of trees. They moved some holes around. I think one of the famous is like the kind of the waterfall or back edge, par 3 green where, you hit over and you literally just have that unveil of
the infinity
downtown
green
LA.
with downtown. Yeah.
Oh,
Yep.
So ton of great views. A couple really. There's a par 3 on the back that has the 3. I don't know if you would call it
it's almost a beer Ritz.
Beer Ritz, yeah, but it's that one's nuts because it's like 220 yards from the back, 60 yards.
I thought it was a deep one.
Okay, yeah, but it's downhill a ways. That's a great one. The not the gripe I have out there, but a lot of holes felt very similar. The ones that especially you go this way, and then you come right back, and it's like kind of the same hole, just in reverse. So there's a little bit of that out there, but the comfort stations are unbelievable. The par 3s are really good. There's
great finishing hole.
Great finishing hole. We did see another celebrity out there on that trip. Your guy.
Yeah, so back to episode 1 where we were talking the big right miss from Austin. We had the absolute pleasure to watch Karl Anthony Towns tee it up a few times. And I've seen the article, I hit it 400 yards, blah, blah, blah. He is accurate. He does hit it 400 yards. It is about 130 right and 270 downwind. I mean, down the fairway. So, the first tee shot we saw him on was right after the comfort station. There is, I think, 2 holes side by side. You're teeing off on the left one. He's on the right, or there's a hole over to the right. And he missed the fairway on the right and into that right rough, which legitimately was 120 yards right of us. So that's where the big right comes from.
Easy to spot, though.
Very easy to spot.
7-footer, like it's not someone you normally see, that tall and that kind of athletic playing golf. It was crazy.
Yeah, it was cool to see. Not even our most athletic NBA player of the trip, but it was cool to see that. And I think we saw like one other shot on the par 3 that he hit pretty well. So I could understand a 400-yard drive here or there, but anytime there's a big right miss, I'm calling it a Karl Anthony Towns or a cat all day.
Love it.
And another fun fact, little TrackMan quip here. Karl Anthony Towns, when he lived in Minnesota, I think he rented a house. I don't think he owned it. But the gentleman that bought that house put a TrackMan in. So I was able to go in, see the gym that he used to work out in, and the little, indoor court, basketball court he practiced in. And he had this glassed off room on the side that was barely big enough to swing a club, that this guy put a TrackMan simulator with a retractable screen in. Came out really cool, very quirky space. There's mirrors on one wall. Like you make one bad step and and it's going to be a very expensive day. But that was really cool to be in be in the same basketball court that he used to practice in privately. So little insider there.
Love it. And that talking about TrackMan and we've played Hillcrest or the 5, which is their short course on the TrackMan sim, and it just blows me away still to this day, playing a place in real life, seeing I think it could be like Studio City or the Fox Towers, like right, behind where they do a lot of the, filming for different shows and all that.
Yep.
And that showing up on the actual gameplay as well as you're playing the 5, the short course. And then seeing that in real life, it still blows me away how crazy that is.
Yep. That's actually, I've played the 5 a bunch of times. But I actually haven't played it virtually, the full Hillcrest course. And that's something I probably should do. I've always, if there's a course that I played in real life, I try to play it virtually and see the similarities. And I think you can attest to this, but it is kind of uncanny sometimes when you hit a shot virtually that the exact same reaction happened in real life, even if it was a really quirky one, and you see it happen in game and you go, wow, like this is that realistic and that much similar to the real thing. So just a highlight there, like there's not a course I've played virtually that I've played in real life that doesn't feel like you're there and feel like the real reactions from the course you get, which is pretty cool.
Yep. Yeah. And I think overall I enjoyed Hillcrest. I mean, I know Adam Sandler is a big Hillcrest guy.
Yep.
Some videos out there I've seen of him, but overall, I mean, really, really fun time. We had a great experience. We'll get into rankings of the course here at the end, but any lasting, any parting thoughts on Hillcrest?
Yeah, I would say of the courses we played, definitely one of the ones, at least for me, that I felt least welcome at. And I know it's a super exclusive club. It is full of a very wealthy membership. And to see, 3 guys that don't look the part, might be a little different, but
right.
Outside of a few things, it was great, and golf course was fun. The range was a blast. The range felt completely different than the rest of the property. Side note, it felt like a party out there. There's a bunch of families practicing, playing, taking lessons. People were talking to us. It felt much more welcome than the clubhouse did.
And they do put music on as well on like Friday afternoon,
playing.
Saturday, and I will say, like, the director of golf who I've met a couple times, he's awesome.
Was that who came and talked to us, or was that director of instruction?
That was
while we were on the range.
That was instruction. Yeah,
he was awesome. Like,
yep.
great conversation with him. Very inquisitive on the technology and also very knowledgeable on the technology. But we sat there and yacked it up for 20 minutes before the tee time, and just super welcoming from that front. But yeah, post round, it was pack up and head on out, boys.
Yeah. And one more thing I forgot to, the way that they redesigned and did like their teaching bay and that whole building, it was meant to kind of like, I don't know, like go into the nature landscape almost. So like if you're looking back at it from, the golf course and all that, you almost can't see it because it kind of blends in with the environment. And so I thought they did a really good job making everything super high tech, very, up to speed with the membership that, they needs to be nice. It needs to be, all that, but also ensure that you don't ruin the views, as well. Yep. So,
and that's a good point. Like there's a lot of clubs out there that, prioritize traditionalism and to the point where some of them don't adopt technology. And, I get that there's some courses that don't need that, right? They don't need more people on property more often and whatnot. But what they were doing to get people on property was really cool. And I think a lot of clubs that do have that, that anti-technology view or standpoint, they could learn a lot from them. You don't have to diminish the experience for the purist by adding TrackMan range or adding some teaching tools and spaces for professionals. You can create all of that and still have an unbelievable experience from a member standpoint. So, and I think that place was a testament to that. And last note, not the best I've ever experienced, but one of the best comfort stations I've ever been in. Primarily visually, right? You're at the top of the hill looking out over basically a 360 view of LA, and some really cool snacks and drinks and different things that you could get from there. So that was a treat to take part of that, and we definitely didn't abuse it, but we did have some really good snacks for the rest of that.
And we were charged for that, so that was billed
The
back
drinks,
to us.
not the comfort station. The
yes,
drinks,
correct. Yeah,
I wasn't charged at Hillcrest
correct.
other than the hat that I bought.
Yeah,
that I didn't know how much it cost until I got the bill.
Right.
That was the other wild thing, and I get it. Like,
no prices.
Who needs prices at that echelon? But me going in there, I'm like, hey, how much is this hat? He's like, I don't know. It just bills back to you. I'm like, okay, I'll take it, I guess. It's not going on my bill.
Yeah. And I think at the comfort station, they also, I'm a big sucker for like cooking something outside. I think they had someone cooking, I don't know what it was, burgers or tacos or something.
Yep.
But instead of like, you go up and get a hot dog like normal, but it's that extra member kind of experience. They know it's going to be a busy day or whatever it is, and so we had a little snack and a drink, and it was great. So overall, enjoyed Hillcrest.
Side note, a great caddy out there.
Oh, you're right. Yep.
I forget that. I think that was our first caddy of the trip, maybe only caddy of the trip, but he was great. Like he was very to the point, very direct. This is what you do. It asked us, do you even want information? Do you want to read? A very very good caddies out there.
Yeah,
I would suspect from his
you
experience.
Were spot on. We've had some bad experiences, and that guy, and he did a great job. Like he switched off bags as the round went on, I think, and maybe helped out a little bit here and there. So, we also had one at Brentwood too. Coming up, which he was great too. So
he was my favorite. It might possibly my favorite caddy of all time. I forget.
So let's get to Brentwood. I know Brentwood was a high on your list. Tell me about Brentwood.
Yeah, Brentwood is similar to Hillcrest in some ways, and it's a little stuffy, right? But
extremely
overall,
stuffy.
I don't know. I felt after we left the pro shop, everything felt great. We walk in, we go through the pro shop. We're both merch, czars. Cabot, we're always wearing something merch, so we wanted to go in and get something, and it was a quick great, see ya, no interest in having a conversation.
We try to support the shop, right? I mean, we try to, especially if they're taking care of the round or giving us, at least letting us out there. So it was very cold. Yeah.
It was a very cold welcome. We thought, oh boy, this is going to be very similar to our experiences yesterday. Side note, I think actually, that morning was our only morning that we had to kind of explore the city, right? And we went and got a really good coffee on the Star Walk, and was at downtown Hollywood or.
Yep.
I don't know LA well enough to say that, but we walked around, saw some stars, took a picture of NSYNC and Backstreet Boys stars. It was fun. Lost my Butler National divot tool there, unfortunately. Yep. But yeah, we had a great morning, just kind of being tourists and enjoying the sights and sounds.
You got swindled on a couple cigars.
Yeah, boy, I bought the best cigars possible. This is why Austin no longer lets me handle cigar purchases.
Right.
But hey, they smoked well. They were good.
We enjoyed that on our walk at Brentwood, man. That was
yes.
yeah, and honestly, so backtracking a little bit, like I'm driving at this point, and we're going out. Like that's just a nightmare to get from where we were in Hollywood to get to Brentwood because there's no highway. There's no it's a great drive for people that are not driving. So you guys got to see
I
UCLA
loved it.
and you got to see everything, and I am just white knuckling like you can't even take your eye off the road. Both on the way there and the way back, it's just it was a grind.
Well,
but,
yeah. People are insane. I thought Houston drivers were bad. In LA, man, there's zero care for any human being around you. You drive for you and you only. And so I could completely understand that one.
That was my first time kind of going by UCLA though. That was really cool. I'd never been
campus.
up in that area. And really never even I don't know if heard about, but Brentwood has never crossed my thoughts, before this. Like I didn't know anything
of it.
Didn't know anything about it, didn't really know what it was about, but I thought we had like the course was extremely fun. And and the way that it was set up that day for us, you and I did a lot of walking. The caddy had the cart, I believe, or whatever it was, and he had our clubs. We had a cigar, like we were just, I mean, it was beautiful weather. Like that was.
We made that golf course feel like we were at Lakeside again.
Yeah.
I think we were getting some judgmental views from a few people, but we did not care. We were vibing. We were eating the chili. Man, we were members for the day with no care in the world.
Birdied the first hole, came off firing. And I think we had our cigars maybe just before the turn. And I remember
we started them on like 8 or 9.
Yeah, I remember clearly walking from 9 green to 10T. You got to walk right by the shop, right by the clubhouse. There's
Putting
probably
green.
I mean, there's 20 people just milling around, and we are just blowing smoke like we don't
cinching it up,
and just vibing. And that's where we saw our next celebrity.
Well, I'm gonna set this one up. I'm gonna set this. We saw 2.
We saw a celebrity before this. Yeah, you're right.
Where?
On the driving range.
Oh yeah. Well, so I don't know which one was first. I don't know if we went driving range or short game area first. But I'll set up the driving range one. Okay. So Austin has struggled to this point of the trip. Didn't play extremely well at Lakeside, played pretty poorly at Hacienda, definitely to his standards. Hillcrest was up and down. There wasn't a lot of consistency there. Swing felt in shambles. I was getting a little Tin Cup vibe. He was starting to talk, training aids and too many thoughts and all this stuff going on. We're on the driving range. I'm standing behind him and I'm like, just do this. Just feel this. Just try to hit this. Nothing's working.
Set up how tight this driving range is first off, dude.
It is, it felt like we were on the piers in New York on that driving range. Like there is 8-foot wide stalls. There is about 6 feet behind you in a walkway. So like if you're taking a swing, you basically have to stop for the people. I think there's like maybe there's tennis courts behind, I believe. So there's a fence right behind. So, extremely tight. And Austin's just taking swings, can't make contact, snap hook, slice, shank, all over the place. And here comes Blake Griffin. Out of nowhere, Austin's savior at this point. And Blake gets about 6-7 feet from Austin and just stops. And Austin's like, not going to hit a shot. He's just standing there. He knows what's looking at him. And he just freezes. And Blake Griffin just stands there and just stares blankly watching Austin. And so he was forced to hit. Best drive I think I've ever seen Austin hit in my life. Almost left the netted area.
Right.
And, I think to the same message from Scott Kahn or to Scott Kahn earlier goes to Blake Griffin. If you're looking for advice, if you're looking for help, the man's right here.
Yep.
He's still swinging at Pier and ready for you, bud.
Dude, I needed that. I needed that little wake up of hey, if something goes bad here, Blake Griffin is about to see you snap hook this into a car on the parking lot. But dude, you're right. I had my swing was everywhere, and then we get to that range, and there's nets on both sides. There's nets at the end. It's like a 200. I mean, it's not a long range, so you're kind of worried, like, oh man, if I hit driver, like, I know they're kind of probably 80% balls or whatever it is, but it was brutal. I almost did not play that day, and then Blake Griffin, stopped and saved me. So it turned around from that moment on. I still didn't play great the rest of the trip, but it definitely turned around.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, and we saw him a few times out on the course. Pretty good move at it. Very armsy, if I remember correctly. He's good hand-eye coordination. We also saw him as a new member at another club. We won't mention that club, but so we had seen his name already at this point, and we're like, oh man, we didn't even know he was a golfer. And then to just casually run into him and have him, adore Austin's golf swing was the highlight of my day there for sure. But lead us into awesome. To number 2. And I mean,
I'm trying to remember. This may have been at the turn, or it may have been when we went to the short game area. Short game
area.
Okay,
right out of the gate. We hadn't teed off yet. Yeah.
And so we're walking out there, and Owen Wilson just passes by us, and you want to talk about a stark difference between Blake Griffin and Owen Wilson as far as size,
athleticism, size, posture.
I mean, dude, like, you always
demeanor.
expect, celebrities, like, oh, okay, they're probably look bigger on TV, the movies and all that. Owen Wilson is not a very big guy, and I just seen Blake Griffin, who is a ginormous human, and but that was the one I was like, that's freaking Owen Wilson. Like, the way he walked was Owen Wilson. Like, that was.
Yeah. And he was with somebody. So, likely an executive from a movie station, whatever. And, we think that he was going for a golf role, and now we see a couple years later he's in this Netflix, I think, show about golf, and I haven't watched any of it, but I would like to say that him watching us just peer a few wedges out there on the chipping green inspired him and gave him that little extra edge he needed to go out and get it done.
Yep. That was
doubtful.
Two great pulls out there with Blake Griffin and Owen Wilson, kind of set us up for a good day. And then, like we kind of talked about, we're vibing, playing some decent golf, but we played at a really good time of day. It was kind of, I don't know what we teed off at, probably 1 o'clock,
early afternoon. Yeah. Finished kind of with the sunset and
just, great caddy, good comfort stations, not Hillcrest vibes, but they were great.
Great chili. Yeah. Great chili. Spilled it all over my clothes, and still would recommend doing it again.
That was we had a great time. Anything from the course you remember? I'm trying to think any standout holes.
I don't I remember 9 and 18 were similar, but like you hit over, I think, like a dry creek bed. And it's the course itself isn't one that's you go like, man, I remember every shot, every hole. It's not like that, but it is one that you just, at the end of it, you go, man, that was way more fun than I was expecting or giving it credit for. It just, it felt like a very easy flow. The golf course wasn't overly hard, but it also wasn't easy.
Very walkable.
It was tight. Very walkable.
Very walkable. Like, that's one, if you're a member, you can walk 4 or 5 times a week and be just fine.
Yep. Agreed. Yeah, it was a pleasure. Like I really had a lot of fun. Again, we overcame some early adversity and made that our day. I think we can thank the morning coffee and morning off. I think had we had a an experience like that's coming up and a tough morning ago here, it might have been a little tougher of a day, but yeah, it ended up being the surprise of the trip for me, and outranked a few of the courses that we wouldn't have thought, it was going to outrank basically.
Yep. I do remember after Brentwood, grinding back down that same road, down Hollywood Boulevard, all that, and then sitting in the In-N-Out drive-through for.
I was trying to think, was that night or was that the barbecue night, Korean barbecue night?
No, that was that night because we drove straight back and that was near our host house. And so we basically grabbed In-N-Out and, typical LA Hollywood fashion, the line. I mean, it was 45 minutes in the drive-through just to get In-N-Out and take it to the house after driving 45 minutes to get there. But yeah, great day there. I think Korean barbecue was the night before.
And we did. It's not of crazy note, but it was hilarious. Walking in, there was a line of 20, 30 people waiting at this place. I have no clue where we were. Got dropped off by an Uber, and we just walked to the front. And they go, "Hey, we're here for our table," and they brought us to the best table in the house. It was the influencer table. You had the logo right up there, the biggest and best looking grill in the restaurant, and we're just
that was the
couple
best
golf
Korean
pros.
barbecue I've had.
Agreed.
I've had a ton out there. This was not the one where it's unlimited, like a lot of the places are, where you just kind of keep ordering. So. It was it was so good. It was unbelievable.
Yeah, and that I think they took care of our, not all of it, but they took care of some of the dinner, and
yep.
I mean that was a highlight from a non-golf perspective of that trip. Like far and above the best food we had, the best maybe dining experience I've ever had, just like from a standpoint of how easy it was to get in and how cool it felt to be in that spot and the access. It was, that was a fun one.
Yeah. Living how our host lives out
how
there.
How the other half
night.
lives, baby.
not us lowly PGA professionals. But good dinner that night. I mean, even In-N-Out, that's you gotta have In-N-Out when you go out there.
Yeah, and then that night, the In-N-Out night, we were out late, we went over to an apartment, hung out on the roof, great views. Y'all had some drinks, hung out. Very late night. And then the next morning, if I remember correctly, we just pumped it straight down south.
Yeah, because that night we went back to our our influencer house in the Hollywood Hills, and I think we ended up
all influencer trip,
dude. I think we ended up staying up and just basically sitting at that kitchen table because you could see the views, and we just kind of chilled, hung out. We held
a golf club, chatted golf, life,
it
marriage.
was awesome, man.
Yeah,
it was that was one of the best. Kind of just chill nights. We didn't do anything. There was no TV on. We just were hanging out. Yep. That was awesome.
Yep. And then my favorite story of all time, my favorite version of Austin of all time. I mean, what did we leave? 4:00 in the morning to get down there in time for our round or something.
Yeah.
2 to 3 hours of sleep. It was a rough start.
No, yeah, you're right. No, we went down the night before. We went down the night before. So we stayed at the influencer house the 2 days before, and then we went down the night before.
We stayed in a hotel down there.
We drove at it was 10 o'clock at night. We're driving down to.
I think it was post In-N-Out. We drove down. Yeah. Yep.
Which was brutal, and and so we're in a hotel.
But we still stayed like 40 minutes or 30 minutes away from the golf course.
Yeah.
So we still had a hike.
Well, because we're trying to
still
find
had to get
enough,
up early.
I think I had my wife book the hotel on points, and that was the only one we could afford.
At like 10 p.m. at night.
Yes. That was a great call.
Balling on a budget, baby.
Yep. So we drove down south, and I think we stayed, I don't know the town, but 30, 45 minutes away from the experience of all experiences, at the
Golf
farms.
Club.
The staple of Phil Mickelson and the PGA Tour, contingency down there. And why don't you take it away from your perspective?
We get there, we're beat, we're tired. We get thrown into some kind of like
no idea what we're getting into
game. Yeah, we need to give them a handicap. We didn't have handicaps at that point, so they threw us in at scratch. We're like, well, neither of us are playing that well. We're a 5-some, we'll figure it out. We were lost. We were completely lost. We didn't know if we were supposed to hit the fairway or try to pump it into the woods. Like there was a lot of questions of what was going on.
As we were playing 5, but like every hole someone sat out because it was a 4-person team, and so I lost track of that after the first hole. No idea who was.
Yeah, it was a lot, right? And again, lack of sleep and a lot of travel, a lot of golf under our belt already. The stress of going and playing, a really good golf course in that afternoon, but being on a time crunch, it was a lot on our plates. I don't think either of us were really pumped to play the golf course when they told us, oh, this is the hardest golf course in the area, and tour pros come out here to practice before, the season. And I think we were both like, no, we don't want this. Like, we want to play 2 tees up. We want to play a scramble, a stymied match, whatever it is. Like, we want to have more fun. And then we're tossed into this, what felt like a high money game that ultimately, like, I think we ended up winning $50. So it wasn't nearly as pressured as we thought and gave credit. But it was a lot. And we were, I think, on the 3rd or 4th hole, we're playing normal. We're maybe not the fastest golfers in the world, but we keep up. And if we hit one out, we like figure it out and get to the green and play quick. But Austin was told on like the 4th hole, I think, going to the 5th tee box. And mind you, he hit one way out into the woods or into the bushes. We went over there and looked for 3 minutes, found it. He hit it, flubbed it, got it up on the green. We were maybe 5 seconds behind the other guys. Yeah. And we get onto the next tee and someone tells Austin, like, hey, you need to pick it up. We're getting left behind by the group in front of us. And I've never in my life seen Austin turn into this person. And again, my favorite version. But he flipped a switch and he was psychopath mode. So he was last to tee off on the next hole. He tees off, grabs his bag before the ball is even like at the apex, and is like not sprinting, but walking, like speed walking down the fairway. And I'm talking 100 yards in front of us within 6 seconds. Like you were Usain Bolt down there, dude.
I pumped that drive too.
You did. That was the best drive I'd seen you hit on the trip, outside of Blake Griffin. The shot there. It was dead straight. You hit it like 330, 340. It was 50, 60 yards past me, and then probably 80 to 100 yards past the other guy, and then probably 150 to 200 yards past the rest of the guys in our group. But Austin did not care, and he was dead center. So Austin walked straight to his ball, dead center of the fairway, throws his bag down, back to us, and just stands there. And this poor member that is playing with us, who was one of the nicest guys I've ever met. He was genuinely like asking questions, trying to learn
just to
about
be clear,
us.
It was not the member or the other member who told me this. It was
Correct. It was our host.
It was our host.
The members treated us with utmost respect. There was a little question of Austin's mental capacity for the next 4 to 5 holes by these guys, but we were able to overcome that later in the round. But to set this up, because I got to witness firsthand. So I'm walking with this member down, and he's like, "Is your buddy okay?" And I'm like, "Oh yeah, he's good. He just, he needs some time to settle down, and he's gonna prove a point and show you that he's not playing slow." And he's like, "Okay," and so this guy gets up to his ball, and he's like, "Austin, move! I'm hitting right over your head." Like, nothing. There's no movement whatsoever, not an acknowledgement, not turning around. He has club in hand, ready to hit once it's his shot. And this poor guy, for a minute, tried to get Austin to move and got a little louder, never worked. Proceeds to just shank it straight right, which now is over Austin again, but around trees. And he ended up just punching it down, into the bunker right of Austin to avoid any conflict. And then I had to hit over Austin's head as well. Luckily I produced a little better of a shot. Austin gets up and plays his shot and is in the hole before we're on the green.
on the next tee box before
on the next tee box as we're putting out. Yes.
And the going back to, I have no idea if my score counts. I've lost track of that completely. I hit a great drive. I think I just duffed it in the bunker. Then I just duffed it out of the bunker, slapped it towards the hole, and then just walked to the next tee box. Like, just completely terrible behavior by me. But
justified, warranted for sure.
Yeah, I had just we were playing 5, and our host is I would say slower golfer than me. I'm not trying to like sprint and just ruin the experience. I want to enjoy it and all that, but I had enough. So I think I did that for at least until 9, maybe even past that.
No, you gave it up around 9. Austin was looking at flights. I cannot talk because we'll get to it in a future episode with this one, but I've been there. But yeah, it was just trying to save Austin from leaving us mid-trip, leaving mid-round, quitting the game of golf, selling his clubs. But ultimately, we got him back. He limped in. It was never good by any accounts on that day, that golf course. But it was, I think from the golf course perspective, it is tough. It is stupid tough, actually. Yeah. But there were some really great holes. There's some really beautiful architecturally designed holes. It was a lot of fun if you were allowed to play it the way you wanted to play it. I think had we been able to tee that up at a more manageable distance and without some rules and just casually playing, I think that would have been a different experience. I don't think that would have changed our ranking from the trip by any means with the other courses we played, but it was better than we credit it for. But again, my far and above my favorite golf experience with Austin. When he goes into that mode, it's fun to be a part of for sure.
Dude, that was that golf course was so hard, and I was already so mad, and in the whole game that we were playing, like you said, if it was just be us 3 and just playing, a casual round, even a competitive, like between us, like that'd have been totally fine. But with the pressure of playing a 5-some, we were maybe the last to tee off, or I don't know how that worked, but
I think we're like right in the middle because we were getting pushed by another group in the group, and And we weren't even half a hole behind the group in front of us, which was the best. Like when we were told that other group was on the green.
Right.
So we're a half hole behind after losing like 3 golf balls in the last 3 holes.
Right. Yeah.
And
Like,
so
it was just a
we feel
bad
like we're doing
stretch.
pretty well.
Yeah. And yeah, so that, I mean, I was gone after that. Like there was no care of score of the game. Somehow we won money. No idea how that happened. I birdied 18, which I don't think mattered because I don't think I was, the player that was playing on it. Like I couldn't tell you, but we did have an awkward but nice, little after round drink, which was kind of forced upon us. So we did that.
It could have been a lot better of a drink, but it was awkward.
It was so awkward.
The rounds were being made of how odd that experience playing with us was.
Yeah, let's just say that the farms will probably not welcome at least me back. But the shop had some really good Jordan gear in there. I think
I was just about to say,
you're a big Jordan guy.
It was the best Jordan shop I've been in, and that's taking into consideration Blue Jack, which that was in the early days, so they didn't have quite the Jordan selection they do now. But it was, they had some unbelievable gear in there, like clothing as well, which I had never seen in a shop before. I've only seen shoes. I thought the pros there were awesome. They were super welcoming. They allowed us on, no cost.
They took care of us. Yep.
Is accommodation on that one, which I think was the only one or one of the only ones on that trip. It could have been a Brentwood experience. I feel like those two could have easily flipped had they been, on the other side of the coin, right? Had we had a morning to relax and go to the farms, that would have been a lot more fun, a lot more enjoyable. Had we been that pressured at Brentwood, it could have been a lot less fun, a lot less enjoyable. But at the end of the day, I think the golf course, unless you're trying to play at the top level in the world, you're probably not going to have a lot of fun out there unless you play very far forward, or play with a great group of friends that you can give each other a hard time and get away with it, right?
Yep. I would agree 100% with that. There's just a lot of hard holes. There's a really weird hole in the back that's like a 90-degree dogleg left. I think you actually hit a
3-iron or something.
Yeah, you hit a good approach shot in. I'm pretty sure it just one hopped into the junk
into the
over the green.
Long or junk long. Yeah. Yep.
Such a weird hole. That was a hole where I just tried to mash driver because I was already, extremely pissed still, and no idea where it went, and it's just
Oh, I know where it went.
It went right for sure.
It went dead
it hit
straight.
The bunker.
It went dead straight, and it went about 30 yards over the fairway.
Yeah. I do remember that the guy, not the guy that yelled at me to move, the other guy was like, "Man, you can hit it," or something like that off that, and I didn't even acknowledge him. Like I was just.
They basically were telling you that they play with some of the best golfers in the world, and Phil, and I can't remember some of the others they named. Phil's the only one coming to mind, and that you hit the ball just as good, if not better, than some of those guys. And Austin's just like, I don't even care. Like, you could tell me I am as good looking as Cristiano Ronaldo right now, and I wouldn't even care.
Nope. No, that was it was not my best day. I think you enjoyed me that way, and I mean,
it's just fun. It's fun to see what I look like sometimes on our golf trips.
So
not misery loves company, right? Yep. So it was a good one.
What I do wish we did that day, instead of the farms, we were gonna go to Scotty Cameron. What is it? Studio.
Yep.
That would have been a much enjoyable morning, I think.
Yes. Have you been before?
No,
to Scotty's?
no.
It is. It feels like you're, in a beach town. I went 10 years ago, 12 years ago, something like that. It just, yeah, it feels like an old surf shop. You hang out in the morning with 20 other sickos that are trying to get in first thing to buy whatever's, the sale of the day. And sometimes you meet Scotty. We got to meet Scotty the day we were there, which, side note, unless you are an attractive woman, Scotty will not acknowledge you. No offense, I
I've
play
heard
your
that.
putters, but the fact that I have probably spent, a 10% of my career earnings as a PGA professional on his putters, and 3 chicks that probably have never spent a dime, and he gives them a private tour of the studio. Didn't hurt my feelings at all.
Nope.
But no, I agree. It's a cool little town. There's amazing coffee shops all over. That would have been the way to go for sure.
Yeah.
And I will say, like, the next course, far and above my favorite of the trip, one of my favorite golf courses and favorite golf experiences of all time. And it just sucked that, excuse me, we were rushed from the get-go, right? Like, rushed from the end of our round at the farms to get there. Excuse me. We weren't able to go in the shop and purchase anything. Logo was pretty good, not immaculate, but pretty good. And just that kind of diminished it a little bit. But my goodness, that golf course was, it felt like Hillcrest, like impeccable. Every blade of grass was cut exactly the way they wanted it to. Every tree was exactly the way they wanted you to see it. The best greens I'd played on the West Coast. It was a treat.
I mean,
Rancho Santa Fe Golf Club.
Oh, Rancho Santa Fe, that area, like Rancho Del Mar, like that whole, I mean, the weather, I mean, it's just like, no wonder, the people that have the money want to just be here, even though it's an obscene amount of taxes and all that. But I mean, that place, you want to talk about, like, you could just go out there every day and, you could go to the short game area and spend 2 hours just working on your game and not worrying about anything. The golf course was beautiful. There's hot air balloons flying over us. Like, it was,
that I think that helped. I don't know if I've ever seen a hot air balloon in flight in my life. And we're playing around and, getting pictures of Austin with the hot air balloon, right behind them over the green. It was just, it framed that golf course so incredibly well, and made it that much more special. But that golf course, I like, one of the best golf benches on that par 3. We love a good golf bench, and it was just, it felt like a good end to a really rough start of the day.
Yep.
I know we were all tired and beat a little bit, but man, that's the best I played on that trip too, so that also helps. Struck the ball well, putted well. Had some really good dogs at the turn, so that we paid quite a bit for.
We also paid quite a bit, not knowing, just for the round, and that bill came in the mail later. We weren't told about this.
We unexpected.
Yeah.
Yep. But totally worth it. Like, out of all the courses that we had to pay for, and even the ones we didn't, like, that is one that if they told me whatever the dollar amount was tomorrow, I'd say, let's do it. I'm there. It was just such a fun experience and such a well-maintained golf course, an intentional golf course. It's one you could do every day for sure.
Yeah. I'm trying to remember there's a interesting, like, par 5, I think, on the back that's kind of, there's a par 3 on the front that's really cool. Like, it all just, I think it was such a vibey day that we're vibing. Like, it was.
Yeah. It's similar to Brentwood, that I don't remember many specific holes. I know I remember a few, and that par 3 on the front, like the third or fourth hole, was one I'll always remember. That water short right, and
Yep.
it was such a good golf hole. And then I think par 4, par 5 on the back where you're hitting like across the cart path, and there's some good holes out there, some great holes out there, but I also think we were really tired. We were it was a lot of a day, and so it
Yep.
was tough to piece together everything. But great bunkering, I remember. The bunkers out there were, great sand and good, construction and well placed and good depths, and so that's always fun when there's really good bunkering on a golf course for me. So yeah, it was a treat. I would highly recommend, again, if you ever get that opportunity, like Lakeside, like Hacienda, like put that way up on the list.
Yep.
It is a really fun track.
Yeah, that was top experience for me on the trip was Rancho, and I still didn't play that well, but it was more about the experience. Like it was could not after coming off a very stressful farms experience where I felt like the walls were closing in on me, like you got the houses up high and everything is just it felt like it was just I was losing it. For Ranchos, like you can see everything's open, that no one's in a rush. I mean, we were in a rush to tee off, but after that, like we were fine. It was
Yep.
totally fine to just kind of play and relax.
That is interesting. The farms did feel like everything was pressing in on you. Like you said, the houses are above. A lot of the holes are like carved into hills, and you have something up there.
Yep.
And then you get to Rancho, and it's just it's like the old course, like very flat. You see everything. You see out this way. You see golfers. It felt kind of parky.
That's what I enjoy, I think, the most, and partly because my driver's not very accurate, so I do like a little bit of extra room, but also the feeling too. Like we talked about Gearhart, Rancho, like it's open in a way. Even Hillcrest, like Hillcrest is open, like you can hit the ball many different places, but it allows you to just kind of relax and settle in. You're not. Like at the farms, I felt like if I hit the ball offline, not that I was going to hit a house, but you're just the ball's gone. There's no chance.
Yep. I also think that a lot of that is our combined love of like the community aspect of golf.
Yep.
When you can look out and see another group over here and they're having fun, and or they're struggling, and it's like, man, like we're connected with this group and with this, these people on this property at the same time, whether it's private or public, doesn't matter.
Yep.
But I think that like the Gearhart, like you see the other groups out there, Old Course, you see the other groups out there, you see the people walking around the city. Like, I think that's what I love the most about that style is like you just feel part of the community, whereas you go to the farms or you go to wherever it may be, where it's tight trees lined. Eugene Country Club, even though you can see a little bit through the trees there, they're not that thick. Sahali is probably a better example. You don't see anything at Sahali but the hole in front of you. It almost feels like, and some of that, sometimes that's nice where you feel separated and quiet and away. But it also can be isolating, and like you start thinking a little bit extra about your own game and what you're doing, and get self-conscious, and you forget like, oh, there's 50, 100, whatever other golfers out here fighting the same demons I'm fighting.
Right. No, that's a great way to put it with the farms and even up in the Pacific Northwest. Like it's just a different level of golf, but the farms was different because there weren't trees out there really. Like I mean, there was a few, but it was just the way it was. Like I honestly felt like we were playing underground, after the wall started closing in. Like it felt like, man, I'm never gonna like get my way out of this hole that I'm in right now. And And so it was a relief to get to Rancho and just relax. It was awesome.
Yep.
And then we booked it back up to LA, which was ridiculous. Yes, because this was the dinner.
I didn't know if I was going to get out of this or not.
No, you're definitely not going to get out of this.
We did. You're right.
Yeah. So book it back up to LA, 2.5, whatever it was. We check in and for so the next round we play is at Saticoy. So we booked a hotel north of LA, kind of up towards like, I don't even know what the city is, but it's like just north of LA, up the interstate a little bit. And
Yep.
so we get checked in the hotel, and our host wants to meet us. Is demanding that we come
not wants to. After playing 36 and being up at 6:36 in the morning, after driving all night the night before, going to bed at 2-ish. We are required to go to dinner at a favorite local spot,
right.
Which didn't have dinner service. It was too late. And I'm thinking, yes, I get Jack in the Box. If you don't know, there's no Jack in the Boxes up here in Minnesota. So I'm always looking for that quench there, as well as Waffle House, and Whataburger. Those are my keys, and In-N-Out, when I'm traveling. So I was really pumped. I was talking about it a lot with Austin on the drive back, like can't wait to get Jack in the Box. So I'm thinking, here's my opportunity. They don't serve dinner. We're gone. And then no, next door is just as good. It's even more fun to hang out in.
Right.
And the food's just as good. And so we roll over next door.
And we get seated outside. It's me, you, our host, and his girlfriend. And we get seated outside, and menu doesn't look great. It's I would say bar food, but even worse maybe than bar food.
It was a lot of it was mostly appetizers, with like maybe 2 or 3 options above that weren't appetizing. Did not sound good.
And I think as we were looking to order, was it the waitress that came out and said, "Oh, sorry, someone just threw up in the kitchen"?
That was no. So we placed our order and we did like the sampler appetizer, and we got 4 different appetizers after eating a hot dog only throughout the day,
all day.
And it's like chicken fingers and fried pickles and junk. And we're sitting there for 30 minutes, I believe. And she comes out and she's like, "Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. It's taking so long. We were bringing somebody's food out and the waitress slipped in somebody's throw up. So we had to remake that." And at this point, I shut off. I go into Austin mode. I did not talk to anyone for the next
you were
30
being
minutes.
asked questions specifically to you, and not once did you look up from your phone.
No acknowledgement. Didn't look up. I was done for the day.
I'm being asked, what's wrong with you as I'm sitting next to you. That was, I think I choked down a couple mozzarella sticks or something just brutal, and we finally leave.
And then we split the bill. Side note.
we did split the bill. Very, very typical for this whole trip.
Very, very typical. We split the bill.
We finally leave and we get your Jack in the Box.
I drive back. I stop at a Jack in the Box. Yeah. I get myself a double ultimate cheeseburger and go to sleep a happy man.
Yep. So we ended that day. That was a tough day for the
same way we started it. Just it was a yin yang situation.
Oh man. And then final round, Saticoy. Very, very interesting drive out there. Interesting place. My second time I've been out there. You kind of go through some avocado farms, I believe.
Yep.
It's California farmland, honestly, but it sits way up, and so you're looking down on kind of all the farmland, and That was the best I played all trip. Was at Saticoy. I think we were all out of it at that point, and especially our
Yes.
host, he did not want to be there at that point.
Yes.
But what did you think about Saticoy?
It was a surprise. It was, I mean, the course was pretty tight, but a great layout, not overly challenging, great par threes, really great par threes, actually.
Yep.
Very memorable. Good views. Like I love looking over farmland and, yeah, just seeing some interesting things out there after watching cityscapes pretty much the few rounds before. So it was an interesting golf course. It was a great finish. It was very relaxed. You don't feel any of the same vibes that you feel in most of the other places we played. It's just kind of a place to get away and have a good round of golf and
Yep.
good conditions and great logo.
Yep.
I have a few items from there and great professional staff. They were very nice and
Good locker
chatted
room,
with us.
Yep.
Yeah, we had to take a shower before we headed out and I thought it was a great way to end the trip. It wasn't my top course. It wasn't even in the top couple, but I thought that it's somewhere that I could go back and play and still have a good time for sure.
Yeah, and I think if you are north of LA, kind of going up the coast, like it's a great place to stop and play. Whether it's maybe it's on the back of a 36 hole day and you want to end the day out there, it's a very relaxed kind of round to play.
Yep.
It can get windy for sure being up up top there, but I've always played decent out there for some reason, but it's I thought it was a great, just kind of, hey, let's put the past behind us here at the at the bars and
bygones be bygones.
and just have a good day. So was a great end to the trip. Anything else you want to add on Saticoy?
No, I think I think we had a good time. I think that drive back was a fun time as well. We just got to chat and like kind of wrap up the trip and we ranked our courses, which we're gonna do right now. Like what was your top 5? Or not top 5, like what was your ranking of the courses we played? And we just dove into like how much fun it was and like honestly how lucky we were, because again, as PGA professionals, that door doesn't open to play the level of courses that we played that week often. And definitely not back to back to back to back to back. So I think we were just very appreciative and just sitting there reminiscing about some of the opportunities that we've had over the last couple years in those trips. And little did we know that wouldn't even sniff one of our future trips.
Right.
But
even thinking that on that PGA thread, I mean, if we reached out cold, no connections, just as, hey, we're a PGA professional, no, we don't work at a top 100, so we don't have a reciprocal kind of offer, to have. I mean, we may have gotten on at Hacienda, maybe.
Ugh, I don't even know if that's true. I think our only courses that we would have been able to play out there would have been the Farms and Saticoy. Yeah. I think everything else was effectively off the table.
Yeah.
Unless you know someone that knows someone type deal.
And really all that came about because our host was a member at Hacienda. And so being a member at Hacienda, and a Raider. And so his pro could call out to Lakeside and to, Brentwood and to all those places and, have a good, essentially he got to play, I think, mostly for free, maybe a small charge. And then we had, some charges for PGA professionals, but, which was, there was
might have been split in 40-40-20 situation.
There is a Venmo demand amount that was sent to me that I have no way of proving what I bought. Or
no receipts, no bills, no nothing, just a dollar amount.
Yep. I was also, tried to bill for Saticoy when I know Saticoy was free. Like that was for another round that he hosted out there.
Yep.
But they took care of us at Saticoy. They took care of us at Hacienda. They took
And
care
at
of
the
us at the
farms.
farms, and everything else we paid.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah. So all in all, like it was for us, it was expensive. It was a costly trip, well worth it.
Yep.
By no means would I trade any of that, but again, you're in LA, right? Like it's one of the most expensive cities in the US. It's just the way it is. Like you kind of have to anticipate that it's going to be, it's going to cost you to play out there. And we were there in probably the best time of year as well.
Yep.
I think it was September, October. Maybe not the best, but one of the better times of the year. And so there's a lot of things that that lined up for us to make that happen. And
we're
and
missing
I'm glad
one
it
thing.
did.
We're missing one thing that I forgot. You talked about our drive back, and you're spot on. Like it was just us two driving down, not the mountain, but driving down the hill.
Pacific Coast Highway,
yeah,
right?
through the and we did Pacific Coast Highway, and we ran into that Irish like pub that we had dinner.
Oh yes,
and had a absolutely great dinner at that.
I completely forgot about that.
That was a wonderful
small
dinner.
Town.
Yep.
Yeah, they and just super kind people. Great recommendations for what to order.
Yep.
Yeah, that place was a vibe.
Yeah, that was awesome. So we had a great round at Saticoy, had dinner, and then went to the airport, I think, and had a red eye back home. So
yeah, and then slept for 3 days straight, basically.
Well, let's rank these. How do we want to rank? Do we want to rank by? Maybe we'll do a couple rankings.
Just rank it the way you rank it. Tell me your top courses to your bottom courses, and then tell me why.
Bottom courses to farms. I don't care if
no need why. We know why.
Yeah, we know why. Second would be Saticoy. From the bottom, second to the bottom, Saticoy. It's fine. Like like we said, it's not a one that's gonna stop people in their tracks, but it's a great spot.
Yep.
From there, we go to. I'm gonna put Hillcrest next. Hillcrest and Brentwood could go back and forth. I think Hillcrest, the golf course, is better, but I had a better time at Brentwood, so it's factoring into my decision a little bit. But those are interchangeable. From there, I'm gonna go Hacienda 3, Lakeside 2, Rancho 1. And that pains me. I want to put Hacienda 2, but I can't. Like Lakeside's a better course. It's a better it's just better.
Yeah, I mean, what's funny, you've changed your layout because that is my ranking right there.
Yep.
It was Rancho, Lakeside, Haci. I was Brentwood, and then Hillcrest, then Saticoy.
Yeah.
And a guaranteed Brentwood over Hillcrest. Not even close in my opinion.
Interesting. Okay.
But it was, and at one point I think I even had Saticoy above Hillcrest just because of just the vibe I got.
Yeah.
And so, but I mean, Hillcrest was a special place, and it is one that, like, if you can play, please do. Like, it's well worth it. The golf course is great. It's good logo. Have some really good ball markers that I love from there still. So it deserves a little more respect than I gave it. But yeah, I thought from an experience standpoint, which is how I rank things. As we get into the old course reverse and old course trip later, there will be a surprise of what I rank highest on that trip, and what I rank second highest as well. So I'm a vibe guy. I'm, wherever I have the most fun is usually what I'm going to rank higher. So that's, but it's interesting to see.
Yeah, I think talking through it, the last 2 hours we've been talking through it has made me change a little bit. If you had to base it strictly on golf course, not vibes, would it change at all?
Um, I think so. I mean, Rancho. Honestly, I liked Hacienda more than I like Lakeside as a golf course. I think Lakeside was far and above the best
Right.
experience from like overall start to finish. But Rancho was just, it was like the relief of the trip, and so that added to it. But also, Rancho is again one of the best golf courses
Right.
I've ever stepped foot on.
Yep.
And I just loved it. So I would put, I'd say Hacienda was more enjoyable of a golf course than Lakeside for me. So those two would flip. Brentwood would still stay in front of Hillcrest to me. I did not, like you said, there's some of those holes that just kind of felt the same.
Yep.
And there wasn't enough super unique holes at Hillcrest to make me go, this golf course is better than Brentwood. Whereas Brentwood, I remember that 18th hole more vividly than most of the golf holes on that trip. So that's probably where that would come in. And then, definitely keep Farms at the end. Saticoy above it. So
I
it would
think
change a little, but not much.
with Hillcrest for me, there are just more holes that I remember out there versus Brentwood. So I would probably keep Hillcrest for me as like golf course, and that's maybe just because I've played it 2 times and have like a little bit more. I'm not the best at remembering just from one time playing it. So
For sure.
but I do like that par 3 that goes down the hill is such a cool shot to hit. Like you never expect to hit 3-iron, two hybrid, whatever it is, 3-wood, and watch that ball kind of like funnel all the way up and down that green. Like that's a cool experience.
It would have
But
been.
everything else could have been.
I didn't get that.
Yeah, I think I got it for a little bit, and then it went off.
Well, I short right, blade.
Yeah.
Hillcrest was also a tough round, so I
You were
maybe
not
being a little.
You were not having a good time.
No, 18. There's a good shot on 18.
Yeah. Last thing, I think, if you had to be a member at one of these,
Rancho Santa Fe.
I mean,
Sorry,
there's no question. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean Lakeside from a hang standpoint would probably be better, and we didn't get any of that at Rancho. It was play the golf course, see the pro shop for 10 seconds, and then be on our way. So maybe a little different from that perspective, but I mean Lakeside, the vibes were high. Like if that's what I did every day, like I went out and I played a round of golf and I went and had a cigar with the boys and played a card game and talked and schmoozed, and if I were in that industry too, right? If we're in the Hollywood world, acting, producing, editing, whatever it is, like if that was our life, Lakeside all day, because it just felt like the club, like where you go hang and want to be when you're not home or at work. But if I had the finances, the financial freedom to join any of those clubs, it would be Rancho Santa Fe 100 times and all the others 0, just because that golf course and that practice facility is like what I dream of. Not much is changing from my perspective. Sorry.
I think I have to probably say that. I mean, Hacienda has a special place in my heart, but they have no practice facility, no range really. Like it's strictly more of you do get a local community in that golf course. Like a lot of the people that live right around there, and so it is more of, I would say, probably a community feel than maybe Rancho is. I mean, just from what we saw, but But no, I mean the way I roll, I would just go out and practice and at Rancho and just sit out there for hours. It's just,
I mean, that's a really tough question, because those top 3 are all 3 that I would join in an instant if the opportunity arose. Right. I would be a member at Hacienda any day. I'd be Lakeside, Rancho. Like those golf courses, those memberships were great. Their facilities were fun. The clubhouse had, great amenities. Like it, yeah, in any of those for sure are interchangeable and where I would join.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Love it. Well, 2 hours in, anything to wrap up our Southern California trip?
No, I think if we ever do it again, I know you and I both have a couple lists. Like we both want to play Riviera, Sherwood,
Bel Air.
Bel Air, what's the other one I'm blanking on? LA Country Club. Like the way I would do it next time is if one or two of those opportunities arose, I would do those. And then the rest of my time would be like Rustic Canyon and seeing some in the observatory, Griffith Observatory course, and like playing some more of the public golf in the area and see what that's like.
I'd love to do Griffith Park and get, that kind of true like public golf experience. But you're totally right about branching out a little bit. I wouldn't go down to San Diego again, just unless
not as part of that trip.
Yeah, unless we're basing out of there,
Exactly. That's like, hey, we're gonna go play Rancho again.
Yeah. San Diego Country Club.
San Diego, yeah, we're staying in that area.
Yeah.
And playing golf down there, not intermingling those at all. Like that is a big no that we learned. But no, I think had an amazing time. It was great conversations throughout the trip. It was great camaraderie, company. We met some really cool people. I think we dove into everybody that we met. Looks like it. And it was a great time and wouldn't trade it. Even for a San Francisco pier trip.
Yeah. No, 100%.
We'll see.
And I think we definitely need to get back out there again. I think we have some other places we want to go first, for sure.
Yes.
But
there's a lot.
But like Bel Air, I've seen too many pictures. I gotta get out. I gotta get out there. That's
Yep.
Obviously Riv and all that. So yeah, great trip. Enjoyed diving in with you. It was fun to reminisce a little bit.
100%. Yeah. And just to kind of set up a few things down the road, I think next week or maybe later this week, I don't know how we're going to do this, but the next episode, we're definitely going into the old course trip and details there, and similar to today, like a deep dive into the planning and all the courses we played and the off-course activities we did and the things that we've learned on all these other trips that we've talked about the last few weeks, and applied that to that trip and made it even better than all these other ones. Yep. Not just from the opportunity of golf that we got, but from a travel standpoint and rest standpoint and things like that. But yeah, we'll dive into that. And then, to expand on your PGA magazine analysis a little bit, just because I, for the last 2 years, have been the only fan of this portion of the podcast because I've been the only person that listens to this portion of Austin's analysis. But I do thoroughly enjoy it. Austin deep dives into every PGA magazine. Like you said, most PGA pros get that. They toss it in the trash unless they're in it. Like, I think I still have the one that I was elected PGA membership in, and that's the only one I've ever opened prior to Austin's analysis that he shared with me. But it is very intriguing. Ever since you've told me that, I've dove in myself, whether we have the conversation or not, and it's very interesting. So I think some of the viewers out there, especially if you're PGA pros, you're going to get a little jolt of something that you probably didn't know, and see how things operate behind the scenes a little bit. Maybe helps you long term. as you make career changes and think about things within the industry and like how to do things if you're starting a business, whatever. I think there's a lot that you can take away from Austin's just absolute dedication to his craft. And I'm really glad that you're having an audience bigger than just me for this. That you can share this to the world with, because it is important work. This is what the journalisms or journalists need to come back to. Is this
I'm
kind
just
of work.
trying to spread the word about what we have to deal with sometimes as a PGA member. So, but like you mentioned, we have some stuff to get to with the old course, which I can't wait to reminisce on that. And then I think we're going to get a lot more into the indoor world a little bit and start talking through not only TGL, but also kind of what, you're doing at your facility and just the indoor golf technology as a whole. I think that's something, we've had a lot of experience in, and, the industry is kind of expanding and blowing up right now. So we want to make sure that people are aware of what to look for when joining a facility, what technology is best, and, how can you make the most of joining an indoor golf club if you are going to.
Yeah, and then from the other side, like what is ownership like? What is it like starting a facility? What questions should you ask? What information should you know? What should you prepare for? Things that I've encountered, things that hopefully very soon you'll encounter, and dive into some of those and try to help people that are looking to start their own or dive into that world and do some more research. I would say there's a lot of experts out there in the indoor golf space that truly know very little. And the fortune that we have is not only do we both have some type of foot in the door of our own indoor space and knowledge there, but we also have the TrackMan experience where we not only witness, but we're a part of 6 different types of models and 20 to 30 different facilities and helping them open and watching, the things that worked and didn't work and their struggles and, their misses on not asking the right questions. And there's a lot to share there to help you become more successful if that's a direction you want to go and how to prepare and things like that. So, deeper dives into that. More PGA topics, what's happening is in the PGA realm and memberships and, executive side, and just dive into some of that as well. To the TGL point, like what we would do to fix that. Right. We're not a PGA Tour podcast, so TGL is not PGA Tour.
Nope. And we're just
on
talking
the
tech.
table, baby.
Yep.
But yeah, there's a lot of cool stuff there, and then just to our daily conversations, right? Like the LA golf shafts scandal going on right now, and Bryson separating it. Again, live golf, not PGA Tour. But just getting into those topics that come up every week and hearing it from people who are invested in the game every single day, passionate about the game, extremely knowledgeable about the game, and just getting some opinions that maybe aren't watered down by, people that are trying to become influencers in the game. We are the knowledge base and want to share that. So, see what happens.
Yeah, no, I'm pumped, and I think we got a lot of good stuff on deck. So enjoyed
100%.
enjoyed the chat, and we will catch up soon.